Hey guys, it's Joe with Modern Survival Sense. Today's video is going to be over 223 and 5.56 ammunition. These are my considerations when I look at ammunition for my stockpile or just for my general shooting and hunting rounds. Before you see 6 different rounds that I have in my collection. I do have a couple other brands. However, these are the 6 primary types of 223 that I have. Now when I say 223, I'm kind of lumping in the 223 as well as the 5.56 because there are, let's see, 2 of them. These 2 are 5.56 and the other 4 are listed as 223. And there's a pressure difference, or a potential pressure difference in those. If you have I'm going to go ahead and say this up front. If you have a 223 bolt action rifle, you do not want to shoot like 5.56. However, if you have a 5.56 chambered rifle, you should be safe to shoot either the 5.56 or 223. It all has to do with the pressures that are inherent in the rounds. A lot of the 5.56 barrels are backwards compatible. I know the Ruger Mini 14, I think they listed as a 223. However, it is chambered to use both ammunition. And I know for a fact that it works very well. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about these rounds. 5 of them on the table are brass cased and 1 is steel cased. The steel cased stuff I don't generally use, and in fact I have 2 boxes of the tool ammo and I've never fired it. The last time I used steel cased ammunition was in a couple SKSs and AK-47s a long time ago. So now there's 2 reasons why I don't like to use steel cased ammo. Primary reason is the functionality of it, and the fact of the matter is steel cased ammo does not perform the same as brass does. If you're familiar with ammunition, how it works, when you hit the primer and it starts burning the powder on the inside, the pressure from that will actually expand the neck of the round into the chamber, and that will seal off the bore and pushing the bullet or the projectile down the end of the barrel. Well, that's how it works on brass cased ammo. Now steel cased ammo doesn't work the same way. Because of the harder material, the neck doesn't tend to expand all the way as far as the brass does, and it doesn't seal off the chamber like the brass cased ammo does. And what this means is some of the pressure gets diverted back towards the rear of the gun instead of being pushed out towards the barrel and through the gas port on your AR-15s or other gas systems. In some of your direct impingement AR-15s, because there is a lower pressure to push to cycle the gun, sometimes you'll see what they call a short stroke. And what that means is the bolt carrier group's not going back far enough to eject the shell and chamber the next one. So you'll end up with either not completely ejecting it, or it'll jam. And that's what you get sometimes from steel cased ammo. And it's not just tool ammo, you'll get that from the other kinds as well. Not as frequently from what I've read as the tool ammo, but it still does exist. Now the other reason why I don't like to use steel cased ammo is the reason why I like using brass cased ammo. And that's because you can reload brass cased ammo. Once I shoot this through my rifle, that case is pretty much useless as far as reloading goes. So I have to either repurpose it for some other ridiculous task or just throw it away. And now we get on to the military style brass cased ammo. You have the XM193, and I've got a box of PMC X-Tac in the 855, and that's a 62 grain 855. Now the difference between the two, this has a partial soft steel core, which allows it to hit a little bit harder. But these are military style rounds, and I've read on internet forums that a lot of people like to store these or stock up on these 2 different types of rounds, and while that's good and all, the round is not exactly, how shall we say that, optimal for the task that they want to store them for. They're good for plinking and they're good for, general, training and whatnot. But as far as, like, say, hunting rounds or other tasks like self-defense, those are not going to be your optimal rounds. The military uses those not because they are the best rounds available, but because they have to adhere to certain guidelines to conduct war. Yes, there is law behind conducting war, and one of them states that they have to have a full metal jacket. They can't use soft pointed bullets or the polymer tipped ones. They have to use the full metal jacket, and that's because of how they wound the enemy. It's a little more humane, and the object behind that is to wound them and not kill them, to incapacitate them. So preferably for hunting rounds, you shouldn't be using those. And my primary purpose for using the military style rounds is specifically to go to the range and punch paper and to shoot my rifles. Now, you may be asking, why don't I just buy, the higher end hunting style rounds? Well, it's because I have the reloading materials to be able to take these shells, the spent cases, and to reload them into higher end hunting rounds, and that's what I like to do. I can get those for about 40 cents a piece and reload them to a nicer type of round for relatively cheap versus spending almost $1 a piece. Now, I didn't spend $1 a piece on some of these, but you get my point. So now that you've gotten out of there, or gotten these out of the way, the steel case, the 2 military style, now you get into the hunting ammo types. And before you've got 3, I've got a 50 grain VMAX from Fiocchi, a 55 grain pointed soft point from Freedom Munitions, and this is your typical hunting round in most other calibers. And the reason why I do have these is because I plan on doing some 223 hunting in the near future. I've never taken the caliber out for hunting, and I've moved to an area where they allow you to use 223 as long as the pounds of pressure out of the muzzle is 1,200 foot-pounds, and all 3 of these will actually meet that. So I'm hoping to be able to deer hunt with it. Now, some of you may say that 223 is not the optimal deer hunting round. Well, you're right, it isn't. There are other rounds that will do a lot better than 223. However, if your shot placement is right, there should be no reason why you can't hunt deer with a 223. And I am of the firm opinion that if you have the caliber, you should be able to maximize it to its full potential. It shouldn't just be a home defense rifle. You should be able to take it out and do other tasks like hunting. And that's what I'm going to see if I can do. If I am successful in being able to effectively take a deer without any type of suffering whatsoever, which I should be able to, then I will use it as a primary small deer hunting rifle. And like I said, you've got a 55 grain pointed soft point, and then I've got a 60 grain VMAX. And these are a little bit harder to come by for whatever reason. Hornady's stopped making the 60 grain VMAX. Good luck finding them. But these are generally my hunting rounds. And on a side note, when I said I was going to reload those, I do actually have the premier or a premier hunting round for 223. It's kind of ridiculous, but I do have nozzler partitions that I can reload if I'm successful in hunting with these. So anyways, I just wanted to go over this real quick. I wanted to dispel a couple of myths as to, these two being the end-all be-all types of ammunition to store, because they aren't. They're good for paper punching, and if you absolutely had to use it, they would be okay, but they're not the best rounds out there. The military uses them because they have to, not because they're the greatest. And personally, I am of the opinion that if you're going to spend a lot of money on a rifle that shoots .223 or 5.56, you probably don't want to be using the lower grade ammunition. I'm not going to be going out and shooting 10,000 rounds through my barrel, but I want my stuff to last as long as it possibly can. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Any comments or questions? Any of your personal preferences on ammunition? Do you like what I have? Don't like? Think I should be using something else? Or think I should be using a 338 to take whitetail? Let me know. Until next time, guys, this is Joe. See ya.